about mental health.
Hello, my Urbanites. How are you all doing tonight? You have entered into the Urban Suite with Dr. Lisa Lacan. How are you all doing? Listen, we have tonight is going to be something else. But I tell you, I'm not going to tell you that right now, but I'll tell you more when we come back. So stay with us. Yes.
You are entering the Urban Suite with Dr. Lisa Lacan. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about urban issues. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community with Dr. Lisa Lacan.
Follow the queen, live your dream, but don't sleep. Don't sleep, because she might disappear. Saw that?
Video leaked of white sorority sisters mocking the traditions of sisters in Zeta Phi Beta.
Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes.
I also think that Joe Rogan has the right to say what he wants to say. I also think that I have the right to say what I want to say.
But whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you f***ed up.
I am moving my time to 7 p.m. Tuesdays. Listen.
I think I'm getting excited.
Are you getting excited?
Oh my goodness, listen. We're on another apology tour. Yes, we are. As we dive into the mental health consequences of offending communities, featuring Aquafina, Joe Rogan, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Whoopi Goldberg, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority, Incorporated, and more. So let's discuss if these apologies are authentic or if they deserve to be flushed down the toilet. Yes. My Urbanites, you will be the judge. All right? So stay with us. We'll be right back. So this is our missing segment, our missing person segment. I said I will always do this because unfortunately, there's so many of us in an urban community that are missing. So today, who do we have? We have Alexis D. Ware. She's been missing since January the 30th, 2022. She's 29 years old. She's been missing from Anderson, South Carolina. She's female, Black. Her complexion is light. She's 5'5", 230 pounds, Black hair color. Hair length is long, and her eye color is brown. Listen, you guys from South Carolina, Anderson, listen, wake up. Wake up. There's a mom that's missing. Now, this story is interesting. Her location where she was last seen in Anderson on Highway 29 North on January the 30th, 2022. But listen to this. According to a report by WIS 10 News, Fox Carolina, Alexis's children's father, his name is TJ Patterson. He met her at the 7-Eleven on Highway 29 North around 7 p.m. Sunday to pick their 2 kids up. The plan was for Alexis to follow TJ back to his mother's home, but he says she never made it. I don't know. He says we got up the road, went to a red light, then she went around me and sped off. I don't know. Patterson recalled. TJ says he tried calling her again and again and again, but Alexis never answered the phone. So listen, if you have any information, please contact the Anderson County Sheriff's Office at 862, that's area code 862-260-4405, or Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated at 877-97-BAMFI. You all got that? And it's on the ticker right there at the bottom. So let's bring Alexis home. All right. And then please share. Definitely. That's why I asked you guys to share. It's not so much, well, it is about the information that we're going to go over tonight, but really there are so many people that are missing. And I don't want you all to feel guilty or anything like that. But the truth of the matter is we were complaining that as Blacks, no one took time out about finding our missing people. So here is a platform for us to be proactive about something. So I need you guys to share this because it's very important. And if you know anyone from South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, I have no idea where Anderson, South Carolina is. I have no idea. But if you know anyone in that area or in South Carolina, share this with them. And then also what I will do, I typically don't do this, but I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start posting the pictures on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, and then share it to people that I know personally in South Carolina or whatever. But flood the platforms, okay? Because this is someone's mom. She's gone missing. It sounds a little strange, but I don't know. I wasn't there, so I cannot make any assumption. All right, so what do we have up next? Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Lisa Lacan. Oh, guess what, you guys? I have some very exciting news.
Folks, great news.
I am moving my time to 7 p.m. Tuesdays. Listen.
I think I'm getting excited.
Are you getting excited?
I heard from you guys, and I called a family meeting. I said,
plaguing our community.
Whiskers, that's my cat and dog. I am moving from 10 to 7 p.m.
Good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yo, that's big.
I can't wait to see you Tuesday. New time, 7 p.m. Yay! All right, see you guys. Bye.
The Divine Nine is made up of 9 historically Black Greek letter organizations under the umbrella of the National Pan-Hellenic Council. Each org has a rich history, and collectively, they've been a staple of Black American culture for over the past century, since the Jim Crow era. There is a rigorous process to get into these organizations, and everyone knows to respect and revere their traditions. So a few days ago, a video leaked of white sorority sisters in Omega Zeta Pi mocking the traditions of sisters in Zeta Phi Beta, a Black Divine Nine sorority. Here's the video from Twitter. For anyone who doesn't know, what those white women were mocking is called a stroll, which is a group performance routine created by members of the Divine Nine to represent their respective organization. They were also mocking signs and calls which serve a similar purpose. Even as a Black person, you would never perform or mimic the stroll of a D9 org that you aren't in. And if an org started strolling at an event or a party, you immediately clear the way for them, no questions asked. And a real Zeta Phi Beta stroll looks like this. As you can see, these strolls and signs were full of flavor, rhythm, and coordination, something that Omega Zeta Pi will never have.
Woo! Khalil Green, thank you. I give you an Urban 2 for Change award for making this known. Listen, I had no idea about this, but it was my Sora that brought this to my attention. She posted something on Facebook, and I was like, well, what is she talking about? I didn't know, because I was in another world, and I had no idea what was happening until I read her thread and what people were saying and things of that nature. So I'm going to bring my Sora out right now. Sora Lisa Robinson.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Sora. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for bringing this to light, because I had no idea whatsoever what was happening. It was sort of like, I don't know if it was under the rug. So tell us, before we get into that, tell us a little bit about who you are and things of that nature.
Well, I am Lisa Robinson, Sora of the beautiful Lisa
right.
Khan, and happy and proud to be here. As mentioned, I am a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, but I am also founder and president of Lisa's Living Room, which is a professional organization for professional women of color. And we host virtual events that are open to everyone. We just ask that you have an open heart and open mind. So definitely check out our website. I know you go, oh, it's already there. So definitely check out our website. We have some great events coming up next month. We have a Level Up Your LinkedIn profile.
Nice.
We're even having an event, Am I My Sister's Keeper, where we're going to go there and we're going to talk, have a discussion, women of different nationalities and ethnicities. Do we really look out for each other? You know, because that's important. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. So how did you catch wind of, what is it? It's Southern Connecticut State University.
Yes.
How did you catch wind that this happened?
Girl, thank Google. It was just, I think I would have missed it as well. I just had it on my feed. Google, you know, they see that I'm always checking out Zeta and Divine Nine, and it pops up anything relating to previously, you know, researched or searched topics. And it was right at the top of my Google feed. And I said, what? So, and I know none of my other stories I hadn't heard, you know, you and I are in the same chapter. I didn't hear from anyone else until I started digging and then saw, like, on Instagram that there was a lot of talk about it. So, yes, I did not, I have to say though, I did not see the TikTok video until you shared it with me earlier. And I really would love to get that out of my brain. Yes.
So what are your thoughts about the whole thing of them mimicking, mocking? Because you went to a predominantly white institution.
I did. I went to Syracuse University. That's where I became a Zeta 30 years ago. I'm a proud Syracuse University alum. My goddaughter goes there now. She's also a proud member of a D9. When I saw it, you know, it wasn't surprising, which is, I think, sad to say. I wanted to say, you know, my daughter's I have a daughter that is in an HBCU, thank God. And I wanted to say, oh, kids will be kids, but the tradition and the legacy, the reason why Divine Nine was founded by us, for us, that's something you don't mock. I saw people on social media saying, oh, it's just a joke. You don't joke about that.
No.
That you don't joke about. And all I thought about is these young ladies are privileged and they're ignorant.
Right.
And I would have given them more respect. I actually remember when I was at Syracuse, it was Delta. The young ladies there wanted to step with us. And we didn't do it. And I forget why, you know, we just didn't do it.
Right.
But when I look back at that, at least they asked us instead of trying to do something that they didn't understand. I am glad that the school came down swiftly on these young ladies. Now, when you talk about education, you know, that's, you know, they need to know and understand the importance of these organizations. But I also am like, here we go again. People of color have to teach white folk how to treat and respect us, even at that young age.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And think about it. These young ladies, right? They're in college, whatever. You know, let's say some of them are seniors. They're going to be somebody's boss probably one day.
Absolutely.
So this has ramifications. It really, really does. And it's more, and it's not just about Zeta. Of course, it hurts my heart because that's my organization.
Right.
But what if they were mocking any other organization, whether it was cancer awareness, Alzheimer's, you don't do that. And they were disrespectful. And again, I'm just glad the college responded swiftly and accurately.
Right.
So, yeah.
So as per the college, they said that they suspended Omega Zeta Pi's chapter, immediately suspended them. And then the president, Joe Bertolino, he said he has greatest respect for Zeta Phi Beta Sorority heritage and traditions, and is deeply concerned about the pain that this incident has caused to their membership and that of their other multicultural Greek organizations, as well as individuals of color across our campus community. I hope that the concrete steps taken by my administration will advance the immediate and systemic changes needed to better support and protect students of color on our campus and rebuild the lines of trust within our diverse community. So that's what he said. But my thing is, it's sort of like you have a tendency to mock something, especially like that you're sort of envious of. It's like, okay, I am so sick and tired of them mocking us while they get richer, mocking us, while they do all these things, mocking under the guise of entertainment and fun. No, it's not. It is not. And you said something key, privilege. It is a privilege that they believe that they have, that they can do anything and get away with it. And enough is enough. And I'm like, you're in 2022, either you're that ignorant that you don't think of, or you just don't care. It's like either one or the other. And I think sometimes they just don't care. I know that they've heard, I don't know. I'm like, do they live in a bubble? I mean,
I think it's ironic, that because I went to a PWI and I think we had Greeks, white Greeks, Black Greek organizations. The white Greeks used to have, was called Fraternity Row. And they have these huge houses that are comparable to plantation style houses. And it was interesting because part of why I joined my Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, part of it was because I wanted to be around people that looked like me on a campus where mostly no one looked like me. So for these young ladies to mock something that means so much to probably that person who's going to that PWI, and to add to the fact that we do have Zetas that are white,
right,
that are Latina, we are a welcoming organization, and to have that mocked, it's just disrespectful. I mean, they say impersonation is the greatest form of flattery.
Right.
Not here.
Right.
Not
exactly.
Here. Not here. And to your point, I just want to say, you made me, you brought up something about the mocking us and, they want to be us. I just remember that line from Jungle Fever when she says, they hate us because they want to be us.
Right. They do. They do. They want to tan their skin. They want everything except the powerlessness that we have. They want it all.
But we're resilient.
That's right.
This is, it's just another thing on our long list of things that happen to us as people of color, as women. I'm actually more sad that women are doing this to other women.
Right.
Here we go again. It's like, really? But if that's all you got,
right.
Our founders, this was 1920, okay?
Right.
1920, Khalil hit it on the nail, Jim Crow.
That's right.
Our founders came up against a lot more than haters.
Right.
So if that's all you got, girlfriend,
yep,
have at it. Enjoy it. But
exactly,
we are a strong people. We are strong organizations. Kudos to Khalil for bringing that to the forefront.
Yes.
And kudos to everyone, Greek and non-Greek, for coming together and saying, this is not right. We are not going to tolerate this unacceptable, inexcusable disrespectful,
Right.
Karen-like behavior.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So listen, I always go down the TikTok tunnel. I don't, TikTok, that TikTok, man, you just go down this whole little tunnel. I'm like, get me out, get me out. But I saw something, this woman, let's pull up that video of the young lady who she's having, it seems like, some mental health issues attending a PWI.
To the Black graduates who graduated from a PWI, what toll did that take on your mental health, and what advice do you have for us currently going through that process?
And I was sharing with you, Lisa, that I really can't relate because I went to a historically Black college and university, HBCU. I went to Hampton, graduated from Hampton. So it was sort of like, for me, I felt like that was our boot camp before we went out in the world. And I felt, for me, at that young age, when my brain isn't fully developed, I don't feel like dealing with external issues like that. Like, I just don't feel like dealing with that in terms of dealing with the snide remarks, being called the N-word, looking down upon, not, raising your hand, not being called upon. I'm like, oh no, I can't deal with that. So how did you manage to deal with that? Because I'm going to be honest, my best friend went to Duke, and this was a long time ago. She was like, I was at the BSU. And I'm like, what's the BSU? What is the BSU? Like the Black Student Union. I was like, well, our whole thing was Black, so I didn't have no BSU.
Well, it's interesting, Sora, how you say why you went to Hampton. Was the same reason why I didn't go to an HBCU. My reasoning was it's not realistic, and that we're always not going to be around people that look like us. So let me go to this PWI. And added, Syracuse has one of the best communication programs, so that was part of it as well. But years later, 48 to be exact, now that my daughter is at your alma mater, Hampton, she wanted to go to an HBCU, and I wanted her to go to an HBCU for the exact reason you said, and especially now with the racial reckoning. I just think times are different. That young lady you just showed, I'm just like, wow. As much as people say they're woke, as much as we hear catchphrases, DE&I and allyship, I think now people are, as much as they think they were woke, they're really not. And I don't think as many people want to have these difficult conversations. And we have to start with our babies. This young lady should not be getting an education and have to worry about if someone's going to call her the N-word or out her name. And she should just be worried about getting to and from class, getting those grades, and graduating like everybody else. And that's the thing. Black, brown folk, we're not asking for much. We just want fairness. We just want opportunity. So whether my daughter wants to go to Hampton or Harvard, she should have that right, and she should be okay with it. So to the young lady, for me, I have to admit, when I first went to Syracuse, that was my first time, not so much around white folk. It was my first time around wealth. I saw kids driving cars better than my parents. But still, with that said, my family situation, my mom and dad had my siblings and I very much like, you got this, whoever you're around. So it started at home. I know it always can't start like that. But then when I got to Syracuse, I surrounded myself, some of the women who became my sorors, I surrounded myself with people who had my back. And not all of them looked like me. And there were teachers also who had my back. You just really have to find that. But I will say to her, if her mental health is being affected, leave. Because she's paying for that. It's, at that age, leave. And listen, you could go to a HBCU and maybe have some issues, but if she's not already in therapy, I'd say do it. Find yourself a clique, not so much a clique, but people who have your back and your best interest at heart. Just whomever. And if you can't find that there, then you shouldn't be there. And it's their loss. It's their loss. So You just have to be in a certain frame of mind. I do not regret going to Syracuse. Those were some of the best years of my life. And ironically, out of it, I became a Zeta. So it was a win. But I have, like I said, I have a goddaughter that's there now. She's thriving, but that's the type of kid we kind of set her up for that.
Right.
I don't know this young lady's situation, but if she wants to reach out to me and I can help her, I will, because I don't want that could be my daughter crying like that.
Exactly.
So we got to look out for each other. We have to also hold these schools accountable.
Right.
Sometimes they do shady stuff to our kids.
Exactly.
Campus police, it's being told what classes not to take, that they're not going to become this and that. You parents, we have to be involved. That village, it takes a village. That village needs to be strong. Black villages, brown villages, we need to be strong. We have to, don't assume they got your baby there. When I dropped my daughter off at Hampton, I was like, they got her.
Yes.
Not so much if I was dropping off at Syracuse. I'd be like, okay, let me see, who got them? Because I want to make sure. And unfortunately, that's what we have to do. So pray, therapy, and if it ain't working, girl, somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, because there are other schools out there.
Oh, yes. And they'll welcome you. They will welcome you. And if they don't, you don't need to grace them with your presence.
That's right. Exactly. All right, Lisa. So thank you very much. Thank you.
And I want to say just how proud I am of you. This platform is amazing. I love that you're featuring people who are missing, because yes, our people are missing at astounding rates. And we don't get media coverage. We don't get media coverage
whatsoever. I did an episode a couple of months ago, and it was when I can't remember who was missing, but I called it the uninvited, which is our people, versus the party goers. And the party goers, they just look out for their own, and the uninvited, we knock at the door. The door is not going to be open. They don't want the door open. They close the door in our face. So let's just do our own thing.
And Zeta, that's what we did. We did.
Yes.
We've been forced to always do that. So, but I love that you're doing that. I respect that. Again, so proud of you, and keep this wonderful platform. Keep the conversation. We have to keep having these conversations.
We do.
That's change.
Yes. And then I'm looking forward to, when is that? Your Lisa's Living Room?
Lisa's Living Room, March 10th at 7 p.m. We meet the second Thursday of every month. March 10th, level up your LinkedIn profile. You'll be surprised how much your LinkedIn profile can make a difference. And then on April 14th, Am I My Sister's Keeper, where we're going to have a great panel about women of different nationalities. And we're going to talk about what writer Audre Lorde talked about, how we have to accept our differences as women.
Right.
We have to talk about angry Black women. We got to talk about missing white women. We got to talk about invisible Indigenous women. We have to have these conversations, and we can agree to disagree.
That is correct.
But let's be real. If we're trying to be sisters and you're trying to be my ally, you better try to get to know me.
Right.
So please visit our website and support. We have some great events. Just like in the vein of Dr. Lacan here, we're trying to make a difference every little way we can.
Yes. Amen. We have a Renelle Grant.
That would be my sans.
Oh, yes.
That would be, we went to Syracuse. She was my first, she was my first friend at Syracuse University.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
My friend, my sans, my soror, first friend we met. And they used to have also at our school, they would have Black Hispanic weekends. I don't know if they call it that anymore, but we met on the weekend there to decide whether or not we were going to Syracuse. And we've been friends for over 30 years.
That is so special when you meet someone at the age of 17, 18, you're still friends. And it's like, I can't believe they have children now. Sometimes they have grandchildren. It's like, oh my gosh, I never saw myself this age back then.
Exactly. So and you see, she's here. She supports. She's in Lisa's living room. That's my heart right there. That's my girl.
Wow. Well, I tell you, tonight is a special night because we have Lisa in the Urban Suite. Yeah.
Something about Elisa. There's something about Elisa. Our husbands would tell them, right?
That's right. All right, Lisa. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
very
Sora.
much.
So proud of you.
Bless
Keep
you
it up.
guys. All right. Okay.
You are entering the urban suite. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community with Dr. Lisa Lacan. You are entering the urban suite.
Woo! You are entering the urban suite. I love that. Like, oh, dun, 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 dun. Yes. All right. So listen, last week we discussed about how to hand out an apology. And I gave you guys 3 letters or words. Do you all remember what they were? Those 3 words in handing out an apology. What is authentic versus what isn't? And I called it your paddle for safety, right? So the first thing is ownership. You have to take ownership for what you did. You offended someone. You have to take ownership for that, okay? The next one is accountability. You have to be accountable for what you did. And what that means is you need to go out to the person who you offended, okay? And actually tell that person that you are sorry for X, Y, and Z. And then you have to be responsible. You have to be responsible for the consequences or the ramifications that happen as a result of you apologizing. Now, last week I talked about Whoopi Goldberg, and she had a wonderful apology. It was very authentic in terms of how she presented it. Now, I don't know what was in her heart. She could have been upset. She could have called them every name in the book. She could have been spewing out foam from her mouth. I don't know. But I know the ingredients of an authentic apology. She had it. Now, the responsibility part is she has to 2 weeks to think about what she said and what she did and things of that nature. So we're going to go and dissect 3 more apologies. And I want you guys to help me out to see if those apologies are authentic or not, because the reverse is what we have at the bottom. Obfuscation, I can never say that word, avoidance, and redirection. So we have obfuscation, avoidance, and redirection. Now, when you are operating under the obfuscation, you're actually being very obscure. That means it's not clear. There's no clarity. There's no, it's not succinct. It's confusing. So if someone's giving an apology and you have to scratch your head like, what are they apologizing for? Are they sorry? You don't have to think that much when an apology is very authentic. And then the avoidance is sort of like 2 levels. The first level of avoidance is, number 1, within yourself. You really don't believe what you did was offensive. neither will you go to the person that you offended. You're going to avoid. So it's sort of like a twofold. And then the redirection is basically, again, twofold. You are redirecting what the offense was to something else. You're redirecting the focus, whether it's on yourself so that you can be the victim, or you're looking at something else that they're the cause of it. So like last week, we talked about Tasha K, where she was blaming the machine when she lied. That was sort of like she was redirecting her inner man not to apologize and to really just say, you know what, my bad. So let's go and look at who we have up first. Awkwafina.
Follow the queen, live your dream, but don't sleep. Don't sleep, because she might disappear. Saw that? Slick, right? Yeah. She came back, though. She likes you. All right, let's hit it, and we're following the queen, and we're following the queen. Where's she at? Where that at? Where's she at? Want to call a lifeline on that one? All right, that one is mine.
You know, I'm open to the conversation. I think it, you know, it really is something that I think is a little bit multifaceted and layered. And so, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Where the did your accent go?
It went out the window.
All right, so that was the star of Crazy Rich Asians, actress Awkwafina. So she released a statement in response to the backlash on social media after being nominated. Listen to this. She was nominated by the NAACP Image Award. And over the past year, she has faced harsh criticisms about her consistent use of a, what did you call it? A blatant? Like a black accent, blaccent? Is it blaccent, blatant, black? I don't know what it's called, but anyway, blaccent. Now that blaccent won her both a nomination, but also harsh criticism from the public as a consequence. Listen, basically, she paraded, did her voice, did her attire, did her little moves as if she was mimicking a black person. Can we say appropriation? I mean, really. I mean, and now after you get your millions, mocking us, mimicking us, now you want to be a recluse and stay off of social media. And then you want to see your therapist. You caught wind about this 4 years ago because it was out in the public. People had a problem. But now it has really come to light, especially after the NAACP nominated you. I'm like, what the, am I missing something? And I know it's color people, NAACP, color people, not black. But I think oftentimes we're always lumped into this category, you know, black and everybody's like us. Well, no, not everyone is like us. We are the only ones that came here. We were forced to come here. All other communities came pretty much free will, okay? We were shackled, we were enslaved. And for me, I don't want to be lumped in the category of a person of color. I am black in a sense. I am black because people of color like Aquafina, sometimes they get a pass. They get a pass. So we're going to go over her apology to see if this is authentic or if it should be flushed in the toilet where crap goes. I'm serious, because enough is enough. Again, I'm sick and tired of us being, you know, the hard workers the ones that built this country. But we don't get the recognition that we deserve. It's enough is enough. So this is her apology. There is a social political context to everything, especially the historical context of the African American community in this country. Sounds like she's writing a dissertation to me. All right. It is a group that is disproportionately affected by institutionalized policies and law enforcement policies. All right, let's get to it, get to the point, because it sounds like she's obfuscating to me, going around in a circle and doing what they like to do best. Because again, I believe she probably feels privileged that she can't give a decent apology. But anyway, let me relax. All right. All the while having historically and routinely seen their culture stolen by who? You? All right. Exploited and appropriated by the dominant culture for monetary gain without acknowledgement nor respect for where those roots come from. Well, aren't you? Okay. The pioneers of its beginnings and the artists that perfected and mastered the craft. All right. So what else? Okay. Now, this is something. It is a problem we still see today, though some may pass it off as a convoluted mixture of the internet, TikTok slang generation. What is this woman talking about? I mean, she's all over the place. Okay, a genre of music that is ubiquitous and beloved across the country has now anchored itself as a mainstream genre in music history and in life. Linguistic acculturation, immigrant acculturation, and the inevitable passage of globalized internet slang all play a factor in the fine line between offense and pop art. Listen, what the heck is Aquafina talking about? You all know what she's talking about? Can she just say, I'm sorry? Can she just say, you know what, my bad, I shouldn't have done it, I'm not going to do it again? It's not very succinct. She's going all over the place. She's giving me a dissertation. I don't want a dissertation. I just want an apology. Do you all believe that this is an apology? I don't believe it is. Because I see no ownership of anything. I see no accountability, nothing. Let me go down my list because I don't see nothing. Ownership. Did she say anything about owning this? Accountability, responsibility. You know what? She made her millions and now she's going to slither wherever she's going to slither. I don't know, but all right. So listen, she continues to say, my immigrant background allowed me to carve an American identity off the movies and TV shows I watched, the children I went to public school with, and my undying love and respect for hip hop. I think as a group, Asian Americans are still trying to figure out what that journey means for them. Well, you can ask us. How about that? Ask us. Or do you all also look down on us like everybody else does? When was the last time you asked someone, okay, what do you think about this? Do you have a diverse staff? Do you have Black people? And I'm not going to say people of color because that could be any other thing, but Black, specifically Black, since you are crediting yourself as being a minstrel, a Black minstrel person. Like, I mean, come on. Really, this is enough. Enough is enough. All right. I think as a group, Asian Americans are still trying to figure out what that journey means for them, what is correct and where they don't belong. And though I'm still learning, okay, she's still learning. How old are you, Aquafina? You still learning? You still learning. Okay. And doing that personal work. Okay. I know for sure that I want to spend the rest of my career doing nothing but uplifting our communities. You're not saying nothing to me, Aquafina. Nothing. We do this first by failing, learning, acknowledging, hearing, empathizing, and I will continue tirelessly to do just that. Did you hear an apology? After she done made millions imitating us? I mean, you got to be, Okay. But as a non-Black person of color, I stand by the fact that I will always listen and work tirelessly to understand the history and context of AAVE. What is that? African American Vernacular English. What is deemed appropriate or backwards toward the progress of any and every marginalized group. But I must emphasize, to mock, belittle, or to be unkind in any way possible at that expense of others is simply not my nature. It never has, and it never was. Yeah, right. You deserve a flush in the toilet for that fake, phony apology. You did it over and over and over again, persisted to do it, and then you're going to tell us that is not in your nature. So if I continue to do something over and over and over again, making millions off of doing it, and then when I get caught, when I get busted as a result of social media, and I think also as a result of the pandemic, I think people are spending more time on social media, so things are going to be blown up more. Now it's not in your nature. You deserve 2 flushes. Get out of here, Aquafina. Bye. And someone said this: how do you write a 4 to 6 page notes app apology to address how you essentially use AAVE, African American Vernacular English, and a Blaccent, is it Blaccent or Blacent, like a walking minstrel show to make millions, yet the words sorry or I apologize never once touched the page. It didn't come out your lips. It didn't come from your heart. Not at all. Not at all. So who do we have up next? I'm flushing people down the toilet tonight.
Hey y'all, I want to leave a short message here about why I decided to ask my music be pulled off of Spotify. So check this out.
No white people. It says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I goes, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door and there was no white people.
I empathize with the people who are leaving for the COVID disinformation reasons, and I think that they should. I also think that Joe Rogan has the right to say what he wants to say. I also think that I have the right to say what I want to say. So as an artist who builds, Spotify is built on the back of the music streaming. So they take this money that's built from streaming and they pay this guy $100 million, but they pay us 0.003% of a penny. Just take me off. I don't want to generate money that pays this. Just take me off. That's where I'm at. And I know that I'm actually, to be honest with you, surprised that my statements were picked up, because I thought people weren't really going to listen to me, because that's what I'm used to from the industry. But I'm glad that I am being heard, and for that reason, I want to clarify my statements again, so we know how social media can be. Things can be doctored, people are taken out of context. Happened to me many times. However, I want to be clear, in no uncertain terms, where I stand on this is that he shouldn't even be uttering the word. Don't even say it under any context. Don't.
Wait a minute now. Wait. Did she say 100 million? Wait, did I hear her correctly? 100 million? Speaking in front of a mic? I'm like, okay. Now, if that's true, from what I understand, he's been doing this, Joe Rogan, been doing this for years, using the N-word. So we're going to dissect his apology. I'm going to play and stop. I'm going to look at his body language. It's not too much body language because he's wearing all black except for his head, but his eye movement. We're going to dissect that. We're going to evaluate that. But I'm like, did she say 100 million? off of, entertainment, off of, again, based on, him using the N-word and thinking it's all right. Like, I'm just amazed, again. Either people are so ignorant or they just don't care. I mean, it amazes me how when they get caught, now all of a sudden they're remorse. Joe Rogan, were you remorse when you cashed your check? Were you remorse when you purchased your home? Were you remorse when you purchased your cars? Were you remorse when you saw that payday in your hand for it to later enter the bank account? And let me tell you, the Aquafinas and the Joe Rogans, Awkwafina, she didn't say anything about black, like I'm sorry I offended the black people, the black community. Let me tell you, if you are really apologetic, put your money where your mouth is. Donate to an HBCU. Donate to a marginalized community center. Donate your money that you made mocking us. Donate your money that you made imitating us so that you can be a millionaire. Enough is enough, you guys. We cannot, I don't know, but the flip side of that is they don't respect us. And you know why they don't respect us? Why do you think that they don't respect us? I call them the party goers. They only care when they get caught. Then cue the remorseless, I got to put my glasses on, performative apologies. Yes, performative apologies. Yes, Kelly Daniel. That's my line, sister. Yeah. Woo! Yes. What's happening, Kelly? Yes. They only apologize about getting caught. It's sickening. I'm just so sick and tired of it. However, the flip side is we don't write checks. Meaning, and I've said this before, when you have the power of the pen, your name, your signature is on a check that you're handing out to someone. And collectively, as a community, we have not gotten to that point. We don't all own any car industries. We don't own a lot of banks. We don't own. So guess what? It is my belief that they can do anything they want with us because they don't respect us. We are just consumers. And they really believe that because we are consumers, we're beholden to them. So guess what? They don't need to apologize. They don't. And India Irie on point about how much artists get paid from Spotify. I'm like, and then he gets 100 million. I'm like, oh my gosh. Exactly. The fact that it's allowed until it's uncovered is a problem. Spotify didn't just discover Rogan is a racist. Thank you. They knew that he used the N-word over and over and over and over and over again. So let's go to his tape and see his little video.
Hello, friends. I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but...
Wait, what? He says he agrees with that now in 2022 after he's been on it for 12 years. And did he just say that? I'm like, wait a minute. So he's been on there for 12 years using the word. I don't even like saying the word. I really don't. Using the word. So in 2022, when someone brings it to the attention, and not really initially because of that, it was because of the vaccination issue. So this kind of uncovered something else. I know Spotify knew, but guess what? He's bringing in a lot of money to Spotify. So at the end of the day, in a capitalistic society, it's he who is bringing in the most money wins. All right, let's continue.
For a long time, when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. Like that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 90s.
All right, so now he's blaming Red Fox. And he's saying that because Red Fox used it, a black man, I have the right to say it. So again, he's not taking ownership for any single thing at all.
1970s and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his albums.
All right, now he's blaming Richard Pryor because Richard Pryor said it. So I'm sure you caught wind out of all these years. I'm sure you caught wind out of all these years that you're just not allowed to say it. I don't care in what context. You shouldn't be saying it at all. But you feel comfortable saying it, and you probably say it around your dinner table. All right, so let's continue.
Or I was quoting a Lenny Bruce bit, or I was quoting a Paul Mooney bit, or I was talking about how Quentin Tarantino used it repeatedly in Pulp Fiction, or I was talking about how a Netflix executive, ironically, used it because he was trying to compare it to another offensive word, and he said it out loud, and they fired him.
All right, so here we go. Here we go. He feels privileged, entitled. Just give an apology. Just say, I'm sorry. I apologize. Is he taking ownership for anything? Is he being accountable for anything? Is he being responsible for anything? Absolutely not. Let's see, what has Kelly said? Said it with his whole chest. And in what context is a man supposed to use it? Thank you. Is a white tea man ever supposed to use it? And then she canceled Spotify. So I'm sure Spotify has a lot of cancellations. I know their stock tanked as a result of this. And is he for real? How about my bad? I'm sorry. Thank you. Let's continue.
Not calling anybody or just saying the word out loud. I was also talking about how there's not another word like it in the entire English language, because it's a word where only one group of people is allowed to use it, and they can use it in so many different ways. Like if a white person says that word, it's racist and toxic, but a black person can use it and it could be a punchline. It could be a term of endearment. It could be lyrics to a rap song. It could be a positive affirmation.
Is this a bedtime story or an apology? I am so glad that my show is not at 10 o'clock because I will fall asleep on this. Like, get to the point. What is your point?
It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it.
Well, at least he admitted. He said for years he used. He said for years he used the word. All right, so let's continue.
In that manner, I never used it to be racist.
Okay. Using the word in and of itself is. I'm going to educate you guys about racism. Because you, Mr. Joe Rogan, is the epitome of it. Racism is prejudice plus power, meaning Blacks collectively cannot be racist. We don't have economic means to turn anything upside down. We can be prejudiced, meaning that we have these stigmatizing ideas and beliefs about a certain person or whatever. But because we're not owners, because we aren't owning any big institutions, we cannot be racist. We don't create policies. We don't create things of that nature, institutions in a sense where we have the economic means to control the masses and to control the masses based on a prejudice lens. So prejudice and racism are two clearly different things. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. Maybe they just don't want to understand. And they just go, oh, he's racist. Oh, I'm not being racist. Yes, you are. You made $100 million, okay? $100 million off of using that offensive word. And I wonder in your crew, like your publicist, your crew behind, you know, the camera, the mic, whatever, how many Black people do you employ? I don't know. That's right, Kelly. His point is I'm going to use it again when y'all not looking. Exactly.
Because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say,
wait a minute, Lisa said, I'm not a racist. I just play one on TV. And in this case, a podcast.
hey, I'm not racist. You f***ed up. And I clearly f***ed up. And that's my intention to express myself in this video. To say, there's nothing I can do to take that back. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. I do hope that, if anything, that this can be a teachable moment.
All right, here they go with the teachable moment. It's always teachable. Well, I tell you what, it's a teachable moment, Joe Rogan. Why don't you give some of your millions to a HBCU? Why don't you let that be a teachable moment for you? Let it affect your bank account. Let's talk about that being a teachable moment. Since you made your millions off of us, why don't you give back? I am so sick and tired of these people talking about a teachable moment. A teachable moment. It's a teachable moment. Let's continue.
Because I never thought it would ever be taken out of context and put in a video like that. And
wait, what? You never thought, Privilege, you never thought that it would be taken out of context like that a white man used the word N would be offensive. And it wasn't because you used it, it was because it was taken out of context. So that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. Exactly. White privilege. That's what it is.
Now that it is, holy shit, it's bad.
All right, so his eyes shifted to the right. That's an indication that he's grasping and he's not telling the truth. Okay, that was his first time his eyes shifted to the right. Okay, so when your eyes shift to the right, that means you're grasping on what to say next because it's not really authentic. If your eyes shift to the left, that means that you are reaching for something that happened, like a memory. So his eyes shifted to the right at that point, meaning that he's trying to concoct something from his brain. I don't know what, but anyway, let's continue.
And it's part of also me doing this podcast for thousands of hours, thousands of episodes, over 12 years. I said a lot of fucking stupid shit, which is fine when you're talking about most things.
What? He said, and it's fine when you're talking about most things. Like, okay. All right. Okay. Let's see.
But not when you're talking about race.
But wasn't his podcast built off of like racial issues and stuff like that? Like, don't get it. I don't get it.
And there's another clip that I have to address. There's a clip from 11 years ago. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia and we went to go see.
All right, so now he's blaming the weed. You know, it wasn't him. It's the weed. I'm like, okay, enough. We were high, so I was under the influence. So I wasn't thinking correctly because I was under the influence. Can you ever just say it was you? Like, this is the whole Shaggy thing. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Okay, let's continue.
Planet of the Apes. And we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab, and we got dropped off in this all-black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining, and I said, we got out, and it was like we were in Africa.
Okay, see what he said? Tried to make the story entertaining. That's how he gets his millions, by mocking us, because he clearly said he was trying to make the story entertaining. And that's how they look at us, as just something on the stage, like with the Sambo, you know, with the mask on, and we're always the singers, we're always the performers, we're always the entertainers, and now you want to use that so that you and your family can profit off of us in a negative light. All right, let's continue.
It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure sounded like that. And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying there's a lot of black people there. But
wait a minute. In one breath, he was saying he wasn't saying that. But then he was saying, there's a lot of black people there. I'm like, what does that mean? There's a lot of black people there. Like, man, you know, in your heart, you thought you were in Africa, because that's what you said. That's what you said. Huh.
Then I went on to talk about what a positive experience it was. And how.
Oh, now it's positive. Okay, it's positive. When you saw your check and that hit the bank and your story was fantastic, that's when it was positive, because you probably knew within yourself, I got to clean this up. I have to clean this up real quick. So let me come up with something real quick to clean this up. All right, let's go.
How much fun it was to go to see this movie in a black neighborhood.
Isn't he from Newark? Isn't Joe Rogan from Newark? I mean, what part? Well, mate, I don't know. Newark is very segregated. They have pockets of, you know, so maybe, I don't know.
It wasn't a racist story, but it sounded terrible. And
it wasn't. How do you define what is or what isn't racist? Like, are you the arbitrator of that word, of that construct? I have no idea. All right, let's continue.
And like I said, you can have clunky stories about anything, but not about race. And so I deleted that whole podcast, but obviously somebody made a clip out of it. And
when did you delete that podcast? When did you delete that podcast? Let's be for real. You deleted the podcast when you got caught, you know, or whatever. So listen, apology. We're going to dissect what an apology is, how to apologize, because unfortunately, when people don't apologize, it wreaks and wreaks havoc on our mental health. And this is what I'm trying to instill in the urban community, that it is important to apologize. Because bring that other slide up, that one. Yes, how to apologize. Remember, you have the O for ownership, accountability, and responsibility. So how do you apologize correctly? Number one, you express sorrow. I'm sorry, I was wrong, my bad. That's taking ownership. Okay. And then accountability. You name the specific thing that you did wrong. I am sorry because I use the N word and I know how that word affects you. And I know that that word is offensive. Okay. That's taking accountability. Being responsible. This is not being responsible. No ifs like this. Sorry if I offended you. No, you did offend them. So it's not if I. You know what you did. You're not taking responsibility. You don't blame, shift, or defend by saying, but you said this. But you, that's sort of like that redirection. And there's no passive voice. Sorry you were offended. Sorry you were offended. No, I offended you. And all throughout his whole bedtime story, to me, he did not apologize. He would say one thing and then he would backpedal. One thing and then he would backpedal. And I'm like, at that point, when you're backpedaling that much, you're going to be stuck. Oh, bring it up also, bring it up. No passive voice. And then you have to make amends. What can I do to make this different? And that's why I said, give some money, right? Come on, let's give some money. I'm tired of this apology tour and we're not getting anything out of it. You made your money off of us. Why don't you give back? Because you did. Yes, you laughed after you said it was racist. Lisa said, what exactly is his talent? He hosted Fear Factor, watching people eat cow brains. Another example of white mediocrity must be not. Exactly. The Old Boys Network. So let's go and review the OAR again. So, taking ownership, being accountable and responsible, not being clear about what you want to say is not an apology. Listen, you have to have all three levels in order for it to be a sincere apology. You know what? Did we finish the video? Because he's just still talking. I'm like, this is the longest 5 minutes.
Taken out of context, it looks terrible, but it looks terrible even in context. It's an idiotic thing to say, and I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist, and I certainly would never want to offend someone for entertainment with something.
Why can't you just say, I never want to offend blacks? Why is it so hard for people to say, I'm so sorry, dear black people. I'm sorry. Anyone? No. I don't know if Asians would get offended by the N-word. I don't know if the partygoers would get offended by the N-word. I don't know if Hispanic or brown people would get offended by the N-word. We're talking specifically about us, my people, my ancestors that were slaves. Call a spade a spade. Let's continue.
As stupid as racism. My hope is that, look, I can't go back in time and change what I've said. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. But I do hope that this can be a teachable moment for anybody that doesn't realize how offensive that word can be.
Here's another teachable moment. A teachable moment. Okay.
Coming out of a white person's mouth, in context or out of context. My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say.
Or more that you can do. Give us some money. All right.
All of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick.
All of this talking from the bottom of his heart, just like his apology is empty. And that's what his heart has, emptiness. All right.
Watching that video. But hopefully, at least some of you will accept this and understand where I'm coming from.
Nope. It's the toilet for you with that crap. Take it where it belongs. As a matter of fact, you're going to get another flush because that's what you deserve. 2 flushes in a row. That apology was just as sincere as a $4 bill. Nope. Kelly Daniels said, teach yourself. Woo! What do we have up next? Oh my goodness. I think it's something about The Rock. All right, so The Rock took sides with Joe Rogan prior to him fully understanding what was happening. So The Rock, who is, I believe his dad is Black and his mother is like Polynesian, after he caught wind to what Joe Rogan said, he was like, whoa, okay. So here's his apology. He is directing it to someone, a specific person. He says, hi, Cherry Jacobus. I owe you a sincere apology. I owe you a sincere apology. I didn't show up the way I would have liked to in our dialogue, and my language to you was offensive. I apologize. Thank you and your followers for all the dialogue here. Have a great and productive weekend. How did he give us a dissertation? No. But why is it that non-Blacks can't apologize? Is it not in their DNA? I don't know. Whoopi Goldberg, her apology was, it was very, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it was sincere from her heart, but what she read, that was the ingredients of an authentic apology. And here she is, Karen Johnson, AKA Whoopi Goldberg, finding out that she's really not a Goldberg at all. But that is a part of the apology, that you have to take responsibility for the consequences that come as a result of you offending perhaps the hand that feeds you. So listen, I have to say this apology tour, I don't know where it's going to go from here with Joe Rogan, with Aquafina. I think both of them are going to go to, I don't know. Aquafina says she's going off the internet or whatever for a while. Joe Rogan, I'm sure he's not losing sleep. And then I forgot to give this to the sorority. What is it? Omega, Zeta Phi. You get a flush too. I'm flushing everybody tonight. You get another flush, Omega, Zeta Phi, Zeta Phi, whatever your name is. Here you go. That's to you. Because what you did was awful. Awful. All right, so what do we have up next? I think we are talking about, let's see, okay, on The Rock, but he owes Black women an apology for never having a Black female lead in his movies. I bet he's never even kissed he probably has never kissed a dark-skinned woman. Look. Now we have to talk about colorism too, because that's a real thing even within, our community, man. And let me tell you, growing up, you talking about the colorism in DC? What? Oh my gosh. If you weren't a red bone, you got no attention. Let me tell the truth and shame the devil. All right, it's time for our BMI spot. Talking about BMI. So listen, we are sponsored by Blessed Ministries Incorporated. The Urban Suite is sponsored by Blessed Ministries Incorporated. We are the premier workforce development agency in the state of New Jersey. And we work with various populations to get them employed, you guys. We work with those under the supervision of parole. We work with adults with disabilities. We work with youth with disabilities, like teens with disabilities. We work with those impacted by opioids in the state of New Jersey, as well as those that are receiving like food stamps and things of that nature. We do put people to work. I'm laughing at the comments. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Listen, this has been a wonderful night. Man, I done flushed so many people down the toilet. Oh, my goodness. Because at the end of the day, you guys, it really is about our mental health. It really is, And, in the Urban Suite, we laugh, learn, cry, and grow. And I thank God for you guys. I thank God for supporting, what I'm doing here and just coming through. My Soras, Kelly, Kelly's my back. Lisa up here in GOZ in Jersey. And, thank you guys for every single thing that you all have done and what you all will continue to do. Yes. Thank you, Kelly. Yay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And Paula, let's see, I have to put my glasses on. Oh, Lord. Let's see. Paula Blayton says, thanks, Soras. Love you. Love you too, Paula. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now we're getting ready to take it on out. But before we begin to take it on out, I have to say, I think Madam Divine is going to come within the next week or so talking about her sex toys. Oh, Lord. So, yes, the paper bag test. Oh, if your complexion was lighter or darker than that paper bag, your complexion. Listen, this is interesting. What is the largest organ on your body? What's the largest organ on your body? Come on, my Urbanites. I got to know the largest organ on your body. Y'all don't Google it now. The largest organ on your body is your skin. Yes. That's right, back. Yes. Your skin. The largest organ on your body is your skin. And because people don't like the look of the largest organ on our bodies, we have been discriminated against. We have been lynched. We have been hanged. We have been raped. We have been kidnapped. We have been through all those things because of this. Isn't that something? I mean, when you really think about it, if you step back and you really think about it, we've been through all those things because of this. And at the end of the day, if you cut off a finger of someone who's Native American, if you cut off the finger of an Asian, if you cut off the finger of someone who is white, if you cut off the finger, we all bleed. But unfortunately, we don't see that. We just see this. And we are guided by this. And it's really sad. It's really sad. So you guys, thank you for entering into the Urban Suite. Until next time, thank you. And then Sora Molly, take it away.
Okay. The beat of my heart is from Zeta Phi. Everybody knows we're the best sorority. sorority.